Alright, Declone PD2 Season 2 Beta. Here we go. Alright, there it is. About 2:45, 2:50 is the time of the fight. So, pretty good. Pretty happy with how quickly the Hydra Sorceress able to do it. I'm sure it's not the fastest, not the very fastest build out there for the fight, but I don't think I think all things considered, you know how safe it is for a yeah, when you look at all the various casters, I think how dangerous it is for them, you know, all of us getting to life per vitality and all that. I think Hydra is much safer just because you get to devote so much more attention to avoiding damage versus dealing it. So I'm happy with the speed of kill considering the safety factor. And I think it's going to be a good build for the fight. Just go over skills. Lesser Hydras, what we're doing damage with. So obviously we want that maxed. And then we're going to max regular Hydra and Firebolt because they're synergies. And then max Fire Mastery. The Cold tab. Got 1 in Shiver Armor. Don't think you really necessarily need it, but it's fine. 1 in teleport. The rest are going in static field. The reason you want this is it reduces their health by 25%. So, one of the things you may have noticed about the fight there is he does little invulnerability phases at 75 and 50%. He was at that first invulnerability phase. Basically, as soon as I got my first or second set of Hydras out, as soon as the server caught up, he triggered that invulnerability phase and started those Novas. So kind of like lops off 25% of the fight. Really, you only need 1 point in it. Putting extra points in it only gives you more enemy lightning resist, which I don't need because I'm doing fire damage. But I had extra points. That's where I put them. I could have put them in Shiver Armor or Teleport or Warmth or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Character sheet. So this is without Battle Command. 11k to 13k Hydra. I think it's going to be the same with Battle Command. I'll just check it. 12 to 14k, so a little more. Lesser Hydra is 12 to 13.5, basically. You get to have 3 of them up, and they shoot several fireballs per second, so it ends up being pretty decent damage. We got 95 fire res, 95 cold res, 88 lightning res, and 2088 life with battle orders. I've tried some other builds with a little more life and a little less light res. It doesn't really matter which way you go. A low is slightly cheaper than a jaw, so in that regard, maybe it's a little better to do light res. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, as long as you have enough attacks to where you're not getting one shot. Over to the advanced stat sheet. 16 fire absorb, 0 cold absorb. We got 58% elemental pierce. Declone only has 30 fire res, so this is fine. FCR doesn't matter for Hydrasork. FHR does, because the meteors and the trap souls and Diablo himself, if he hits you, can put you in hit recovery, and then the lava breath attack comes and hits you while you're in hit recovery and takes on you for a couple of seconds, and you're standing in fire and you're dead. So more faster hit recovery means less dying. 86 is a good place to shoot for. These are obviously not realistic, but the more you can get, the better. So FHR important. Sorry, the dog's being weird. So yeah, that's about it for the advanced stat sheet. Talk about the gear. Most important things: life, the res, and the absorb. So we're using 2 dwarf stars with 8 fire absorb on each. What I found is the Nova really doesn't hurt if you have 95 cold res, even without a Raven Frost. So you saw me in that video earlier in this video eating the Novas. They really didn't hurt that much. I think it's better to use Dwarf Star just because it gives you life and fire absorb, and you're encountering more fire damage than than cold, really. For the hat, we got a Shaco that is slammed max cold res, 2 sockets. There are jaws in there. I could put lows in there to bring my light res up to 95, but what I found is no matter what your gear set is, you can't just like eat the lightning, really. You have to avoid it. So um, I don't think I think it's probably the jaws are better. Obviously, we don't want 0 light res because you're gonna get hit by it some. But once you're up to a certain point, it's like it's just not helping you that much. For the BP, I have a Dark Glow. It's kind of like a Guardian Angel. Instead of rolling 4 to 6 on the max reses, it just rolls. It's just 5 flat for each. And this one's slam 3 more max cold res. I always prefer to slam it with max res and then puzzle 2 sockets versus slam 3 sockets, because number 1, it saves your rune. Number 2, the slams come with regular res. So max cold res slam, 2 sockets. We got 2 lows in there for max light res. I have been doing it with 2 jaws in there, but we got lows now. Next item, Storm Shield. Pretty non-negotiable, this one. You just need that physical damage reduction for the Meteor and the Lava Breath. This one slammed 4 max life, which is like an extra jaw. So it's like I have 3 jaws here instead of 2. So it's pretty cool. And then 2 sockets, Ohm Vex for max cold, max fire. Next item, Water Walks. 5 max fire res. We slam 3 more max fire res. Boot options. So you could go Water Walk or Inferno Stride or Hotspur. So Hotspur last season was 15 max fire and Inferno Stride was 10. They each got reduced by 5. So Inferno Stride's only 5 now and Hotspur is 10. Sorry, dog again. So you could use Hotspur. What I don't like about them is there's nothing on them except for the 10 max fire res. Nothing on there helps you. I guess regular fire res, but you don't really need that if you've planned your stuff out appropriately. Inferno Stride, or what I used last season, because they had 10 max and then faster run walk, like 25 faster run walk or something. This season I'm going to be going with Water Walks because they have the same as Inferno Stride now, 5 max fire res, and they have 40 faster run walk, and they have 45 to 65 life. So you want to use these. Don't use Inferno Stride. Hotspur if you need the 5 max fire more than you need the run walk. I need the run walk because I run around a lot, and I think every character is going to run around a lot, and this is just a really good place to get it. It's the only faster run walk I got. Other places, like you could craft a blood amulet that could give you 10, something like that, but you're really like 40's probably more than enough, and it's just really easy to. You're not losing anything if you plan all your max reses out correctly. Basically, I'm like trading a jaw for 40 faster run walk and 54 life, something like that. So that's pretty well worth it because the 54 life is like more than half of a jaw, and then we get the 40 faster run walk. We already talked about the dwarf stars. Just get 8 fire absorb and a bunch of life. This is a snow clash for 5 max cold res, and it's got some regular cold res on there, and it slammed all res. All it does for us is the max cold. Gloves are lava gout. Again, max fire res is what we wanted out of these. You could, instead of using this, use like a mage fist if you could make up your fire res elsewhere. But it's only +1 to fire skills, so I don't know if it's really worth it. Something to consider though. For the amulet, got a Morris +3. It's a low res one. It's fine. All my res are taken care of, except for poison, of course, which there's no poison damage in the fight, so don't need it. Yeah, I don't know if... So, +3 Maras is good. A +4 Volcanic Amulet or something, if you can make up the res elsewhere, would be a little better, but that's going to be tough. Unless the amulet had like 10 all res on it or something. And then last item is just Ascutus Temper, and this is purely for damage. The FCR doesn't matter, but the skills and the fire damage do. The Fire Pierce doesn't matter either, so because he's already your fire mastery gets him to 0 fire resist. So when you're buying this, you can buy the 5/3 facets, and you can buy a 24 or whatever Ascutus. This one's only 15. I think this is 15 something, and it's got 2 fire facets, so we could get another 5% damage out of there if it was perfect. But yeah, that's the gear. Go over Merc real quick. Did something pretty unconventional here. I'm using an Act 3 Lightning Merc, because the Lightning Mercs cast Static Field. So the Merc doesn't really do much in Declone anyway. He just kind of, like, if you're lucky, he eats an AE while you get battle orders and battle command up. So I don't really care what he contributes. If he can get one cast of Static Field off while I can get all my stuff situated as well, that's just another little bonus. How he's geared, I've got a Silence, Guardian Angel, Lava Gout, Snow Clash, Water Walk, Storm Shield. A lot like me, really. And then a Crown of Ages. Got some Hells in these to make it to where he can equip them. He's got 95 fire and cold res. The Lightning Breath attack doesn't affect Mercs for some reason, so he's good there. But yeah, that's the Merc. Obviously, all this shit's really unnecessary. Like, I don't need to. I could throw him in there with just this on, and he'd be fine, right? He'd do exactly what I need him to do if he just had that on, or maybe that in the Storm Shield or something. But yeah, that's the Merc. So put his effects back on here. Act 3 mercs do have low strength, so did have to use some hell runes there, but that's okay. They're free. So yeah, that is the Hydrosauric Declone Killer. Like I said, a little under 3 minutes. I think I'm pretty happy with the overall kill speed. And you know, I like playing Sorceress, so I'm happy to make a viable declone killer out of one. And I think this is certainly a viable declone killer. I don't know if it's necessarily hardcore viable, but it might be if you were, especially if you're like really good at this game. I'm not. I'm learning. We'll say I'm not a long time player who played LOD for 20 years or something like that. Excuse me. Basically just started in PD2. Ugh. I don't have coronavirus, I promise. So just do one more take here. Off to a pretty crappy start. But I've won many a declone, getting off to a really crappy start. And I had my swap on. That's not what you don't. That's not how you want to do declone. You don't want to have a CTA lidless on instead of a storm shield and a Scutus. I mentioned I'm not good at this game, but I know that much. Alright, we're invulnerable. I like to try to time the Hydras so they're just popping out as his invulnerability ends. See, that's what I'm talking about. I was in hit recovery there. If I had less FHR, I might have perished. Alright, there it is. I didn't time that one because I was using the recording timer to time the first attempt. So I don't know how long it took. I imagine a similar amount of time, around 3 minutes. I just wanted to do it again to prove it wasn't luck, and all that. But yep, there's the declone Hydra Sorc. Couple tips, tricks, pointers, all that. Hope you enjoyed. Don't nerf static field, please. Senpai. Y'all have a good one.